Welcome to the preview for Chapter 9, Expanding Markets and Moving West, Section 3, Expansion in Texas. We can see here that the main idea behind Section 3 has to do with the fact that Mexico offered land grants to American settlers. In other words, they actually wanted Americans to come and settle in Texas, but conflict developed over religion and other cultural differences and the issue of slavery. Why is this important now? Well, today the state of Texas, one of the largest states in the United States, one of the most populated states, shares an important trading partnership with Mexico, the country immediately to the south of the United States. Here are the terms and names that are important for us. Land grant, a gift of public land to an individual or organization. Texas Revolution, Texas War for independence from Mexico. The Alamo, site of a key battle in the Texas Revolution. Annex is a process to make part of or incorporate. Names, Stephen F. Austin, leader of the American colony in Texas. Sam Houston, first president of the Republic of Texas. And Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, the Mexican president who fought Texans in the Texas Revolution. Let's take a look at our objectives for Section 3. I can explain why Mexico encouraged settlement in Texas, and 2, I can describe how Texas gained its independence. So let's take a look at Objective 1, why Mexico encouraged settlement in Texas. In the early 1800s, Mexico's northern provinces included present-day Texas, New Mexico, and California. Now, Texas had few settlers. Although its land was good for farming, people feared attacks by Native Americans. Mexico won its independence from Spain in 1821, and in the years that followed, Mexico sought to improve its economy. And as a result, one of the things that happened is Mexico loosened its trade restrictions between its northern provinces in the United States. Mexico also encouraged American farmers to settle in Texas. In the early 1820s, Mexico offered huge land grants to American settlers. Under these land grants, Americans bought land in Mexico for a low price. In exchange, they promised that they would obey Mexican laws and they would practice Roman Catholicism. Many Americans rushed at the chance, cheap land. The same restless determination that produced new inventions in manufacturing goods fed the American urge to settle west. American settlers in Texas were called Anglos. They soon outnumbered the Tejanos, or Spanish-speaking Texans. And the Americans in Texas eventually they established a colony, and the American Stephen F. Austin was the colony's leader. The number of Anglos in Texas steadily grew, and as you might expect with this growth, the colony thrived. As a result, many people in the United States considered making Texas part of their country. But remember, at the time, Texas was part of Mexico. President John Quincy Adams had offered to buy Texas for $1 million. President Andrew Jackson later offered $5 million. Mexico refused to sell Texas. And soon the Mexicans also began to have second thoughts about inviting in so many Americans. And that was primarily due to the success the Americans were having. Now, what about Objective 2? I can describe how Texas gained its independence. One of the most famous battles in Texas independence is the Alamo. And what happened at the Alamo? Well, the backstory here is that tension soon erupted between Texas's Anglo population and Mexico. First, the Anglo settlers spoke English instead of Spanish. Second, the Anglos tended to be Protestant instead of Catholic. And third, many of the settlers were Southerners who had brought their slaves with them. And Mexico had outlawed slavery in 1829. In 1830, Mexico changed its mind and actually banned more American settlers from coming to Texas. In 1834, Stephen Austin convinced Mexican leaders to drop the ban. Once again, large numbers of Americans began streaming into Texas. As the American colony grew, Austin went to Mexico City to visit the Mexican president, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. Austin asked Santa Anna for greater self-government for Texas. Santa Anna's response? He threw Austin in jail. Austin was eventually freed, and he returned to Texas and called for Texans to arm themselves. Soon afterward, Santa Anna led an army to San Antonio to force the Texans to obey Mexican law. As a result, war broke out between the two sides in 1835. The war became known as the Texas Revolution. And one of the most famous battles of war occurred at the Alamo, a mission in San Antonio. In February of 1836, a small group of American forces tried to defend the Alamo from Mexican troops. For 12 days, Santa Anna and his troops attacked the rebels in the Alamo. The Mexicans finally captured the mission after killing all 187 of the Americans. Even as that battle for the Alamo raged, Texans met and declared their independence from Mexico. Their rallying cry for Texas rebels, "Remember the Alamo." And they used that rallying cry to defeat the Mexicans. Under their commander, Sam Houston, the Texans captured Santa Anna and won their independence. Houston was elected president of the new Republic of Texas in 1836. The Mexican government refused to acknowledge Texas's independence. However, France and Great Britain recognized Texas's new status as a republic. Texas certainly acted like a new nation. It established an army and a navy, and Texas also created its own flag. Many Texans hoped that the United States would annex or incorporate Texas as part of the country. The nation was divided on this issue. Southerners welcomed another slave state to the Union. Northerners, however, did not want another slave state. In 1838, Sam Houston invited the United States to annex Texas. Anti-slavery Northerners, however, blocked any action on the matter. In 1844, James Polk was elected president. Polk, a slaveholder, favored the annexation of Texas. In 1845, Texas finally was admitted into the Union. This angered the Mexican government. This concludes our preview of Section 3, the War with Mexico.